All right. So our podcast is called Dude, This Podcast Sucks. So it's a kind of a shitty podcast with good guests. That's like what we like to say about it. But I'll turn it over to you.
All right, yeah, but thanks for coming on. But just if you wanted to start off, just with like people who maybe aren't as familiar with wrestling, kind of like a background on yourself, the things you've done in your career.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, thanks for having me on what you call the shitty podcast.
Yeah,
but
great guest though.
But why do I have to tell you my background? You're supposed to do a little research, aren't you?
Oh, we did research. But we just want to get it from your perspective.
I'm pro wrestling's original reality TV star, rapid delivery Rory Fox, and the man that is going to face Matt Cardona when he gets his shit together.
Right.
In the tuxedo match, and I'm going to humiliate him just like he did to me 11 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to ask you, when do you think that's going to happen? Is there a date?
Well, this is what we're thinking now is like January, but I'm just thinking, why don't we just wait till Texas, get it done during WrestleMania week, because that's originally when it was going to happen, but then the damn COVID happened.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. What were you going to say?
No, I'm just saying, because when COVID happened, that's when it was going to happen that week of, WrestleMania week in Tampa.
Right.
Last year, not this year, because what's the point this year, you know?
Yeah. Would have been Thunderdome. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, I was watching an interview, and you mentioned that you were going to be lined up for all those dates last year.
Yeah.
All the WrestleMania dates.
Yeah, how that all happened is I said, hey, I will get my ass to Tampa to make this happen, and contacted John Cone, and Matt set it up, and John Cone had me booked all the WWE dates that whole weekend, and the Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, that was a lot of paydays for Rory Fox.
Yeah, that would have been really cool to see on also.
I would have been in Tampa. I who knows what I've been doing, but I would have been at the Tampa Stadium there. What do you call it? The Buccaneers?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what the stadium's called? Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been really cool though. But so I was going to mention, we're all Iowa guys. This is an Iowa podcast.
Is it really? I thought you were out of Missouri.
No, we're in Okoboji, Iowa.
Oh, okay. Okoboji. I thought it was the Ozarks.
Oh, that would be pretty cool too, though.
Sweet, but
Yeah. I was gonna. Okoboji. I did a wrestling show there probably about 20 years ago for All American Wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys were 2 years old then.
We weren't even alive. Yeah, we're both 20.
Oh my God.
We're very young.
Wow.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was his birthday yesterday. He just turned 21.
Jeez. So, well, I'm glad to be your birthday gift.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode
4.
Do you remember where it was back in Boji?
Yeah.
Where you had it done, like the venue, I guess.
I have no idea what the venue was now.
Okay.
Nah.
Yeah, I think they just had a show, if it's the right company, they just had a show in the Arnold's Park.
There you go.
Yeah.
Arnold's Park, yeah.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Do you come up to the lakes a lot or no?
No, I'll come up there for a booking.
Yeah, yep.
Or if I'm coming back from a booking, I like to stop by the water,
Yeah, that would be cool. So when I met you, you were wrestling as Gil Rogers at 3X Wrestling.
Gil Rogers, huh? Don't recall him.
Gil Rogers?
Nah, I don't know him.
You don't know him? I thought that you were wrestling as Gil Rogers.
I'm Rory Fox.
Well, I know you're Rory Fox, but I just.
But anyway, what made you guys want to interview me? What do you know about me? Is it just the recently in the last year? How did this come about?
So I met you during that pro wrestling night at the Iowa Wolves game. That's what I was trying to say about the video. Yeah. So then I came across the 3X Wrestling page and I saw Gil Rogers, and I thought that's what your name was. Then I did a little more research and found out that you're Rory Fox, and then found out. So we did do some research. I swear to God, I found out that you were on MTV, the True Life.
Yeah.
I Am a Pro Wrestler, and then
that's where it all started.
Yeah, that's really cool. And we were gonna try to like kind of get away from that question because I feel like you get a lot in interviews. But
no, what's old is new
about,
again. What's old is new again. You know, people today don't even know about it. They just know about Matt Cardona or maybe the Talking Shop Manias I've done during COVID. So
right, yeah. Well, that's us. That's us for sure.
Yeah,
yeah. So
absolutely.
I had to go back and look. So I
now
thought that was really cool.
When I talked to you, that was the night Kurt Angle was there, right?
Yeah, that is the meet and greet that Kurt Angle did.
Yeah,
and then he came out during halftime. And
yeah, that was so awesome. Now, is that where you were inquiring about, like, you're interested in doing booking and creative in that?
Yeah, I want to be a creative writer. So
yeah,
I was talking.
Did you talk to Todd?
I did. Yeah, I talked to him after I talked to you, but I didn't get an email back. So
yeah, well, the problem is when you're reaching out is during when there was no shows after that. I think that was the last show.
Yeah, I remember I DM'd you and you told me to hit up another company. So.
And for that time, yeah. But they are coming back June 5th, more of a spot show. But
okay,
they should be coming back to Des Moines monthly here, you know, during the summer.
That'd be cool. I definitely need to go to some shows and try to talk to him again. But going back to the MTV, did you originally like the Paperboy rapid delivery gimmick, or was it just like you had to get your foot in the door and?
Absolutely not. I hated it, but
really?
I was smart enough to know that I am not about to argue with my trainer, Les Thatcher, who even at that time had 40 years in the business. I was not about to argue with him on national TV about this is what I feel like doing or this or that. He's like, no way. I don't want that heat at the beginning of my career. I'm not going to be the young punk. It's like, I want the other guy that screwed up and I got a spot to have all the heat. I want to be like, this kid's living the dream. So what happened was I wanted to be rapid fire Rory Fox, Mr. Action and cool moves and all that. And then Les was like, how about rapid delivery? Because you look like Opie from Mayberry from Leave It to Beaver, not Leave It to Beaver, the Andy Griffith Show. And I'm just like, sounds good. And it's like, you'll come out, you'll have your satchel, and then like your tearaways, and then once you get in the ring, you're all business. I'm like, it's like, sounds great. And it's so funny. Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, he was also in the special. I didn't meet him at the time, but I met him a year later when we were on the same wrestling show together. And he was like, man, Rory, I saw that special. When Les came up with that idea and I saw your face, man, I fell off the couch rolling. That was so funny. I know about Les and his crazy gimmicks. And I was like, man, you're exactly right. And then all these years later, when I was at Live 4, the Major Pod Live 4 show in Chicago, first thing I get there, I see Raven. Fucking Raven goes, oh, rapid delivery. Man, what happened with that? That killed your career. I'm like, I know.
Oh my God.
But really though, I continue to blame Matt Cardona for it. So I say when he ripped my trunks off, he humiliated me in front of the whole world, and WWE would never look at me again. So I'm blaming Matt Cardona, damn it. Les Thatcher's off the hook. Yeah, that's a terrible shirt.
I had to pull it out. But I would have done the same thing though. Like you can't really negotiate of what you want your gimmick to be at that point when you're just coming up. And
but as I look back, all these years later, 20 years later, it makes sense. You have to have a gimmick when you start because you have no idea who you are. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I'll just go out there, and I'm just going to have my name and that's it. And I'm going to go out and wrestle.
Yeah.
No, dude, you got to have a character until you figure out who you are. Mm-hmm. And that makes so much more sense to me all these years later. So.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of what's missing with a lot of today's wrestling. Like it's really good in ring, but then storyline wise and like character development, it's just like it's kind of like MMA. They just have a name, and then So yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I would have been in the same position. I would have just went with it,
Yeah, MMA has more characters than pro wrestling does now. It's like they're better at it.
Yeah, you got Colby Covington, Conor McGregor. They're all like loud and obnoxious and like trying to talk shit.
The MMA guys are using all the wrestling gimmicks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like wrestling 101. They're all heels.
Mm-hmm. And then politics for a second. Donald Trump, all he did was cut wrestling promos all the time, and he got into office.
Exactly.
So, wrestling, we need more characters.
I think so too. But I also think that like the old WWF, like early 90s gimmicks like Max Moon and stuff like that, like we could kind of stay away from that, but do more like John Moxley kind of characters. Like,
well, but Max Moon though was more of a lucha gimmick. That would work, but Duke the Dumpster Drosy, a garbage man, or T.L. Hopper, a plumber, those are just occupation jobs. At least Max Moon was based off of Mega Man, a video game character from back in the day. That I think even the kids could relate to today if they did it right.
Yeah. It's all about how they present it, and then they have an idea, like in these major companies like WWE. Not to trash on it, but they have these good ideas, and then they just see it's not playing out, and then they just ditch it. Stop pushing.
Yeah, so many guys just like, all right, look in this book or whatever, this is going to be your name, and that's it. Okay.
Right. And it's like, you get over, or then we're going to throw you to the bottom of the barrel if you don't,
Right. It's just the high work rate matches. I mean, it's just all golf claps and chants, there's no connection after they leave the ring. Exactly. Or it's like, man, I hope you kick his butt. It's not there.
And then it's over after that, There's no relatability. You can't show like someone who's not like a hardcore fan. You can't like, that's a cool move, but then they kind of forget about who the guy is,
But see but that's why in WWE, that's why Roman Reigns is so great. It's like, I watch SmackDown to see what he's going to say this week. When he switched heel, he went to this next level. All his promos, he's very soft spoken, and believe it or not, Heyman just stays in the background. Brock Lesnar, Heyman did all the talking, but now Reigns does all the talking, and he's very soft spoken, and you're going to respect the table. And I mean, it's just fantastic.
He's got kind of like the Jake the Snake promo, where it's like soft spoken. You kind of got to listen to it. It's not like yelling at you,
And how
he's in the prime of his career.
Yeah, and how he manipulates his cousins and all that. It's great.
Yeah. That is a great character. But
I tell you, did you enjoy? I enjoyed the hell out of that Roman Reigns Cesaro match. Wow,
that was good. That was really good. Yeah, I'm really liking what he's doing. But to bring it back to your story, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, we kind of got off on a tangent.
No, that's great. I usually have to pull it back. I'm glad you did it. Thank you.
But, so I've always been a follower of Zack Ryder. I'm sorry to bring him up all the time, but
that's fine.
I was a big fan of him. I started watching like 2009. And so when he got released and he started posting about the 10-year anniversary of your match, honestly, I thought you guys were friends, and I thought it was just kind of like a back and forth, like, this is my buddy, I'm gonna like rib him on social media, I didn't realize that had such an effect. I didn't realize the severity of that situation.
Well, on his end, it was a rib. He thought it was funny, something cute.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. No, it changed my life forever when that happened. And after a year after it, I got out of the business altogether. And I thought, although I am one of the wrestlers out there that didn't take his boots off in the ring and say I'm retired, can we swear in here?
Yeah.
Every fucking indie pro wrestler takes his boots off in the ring and says, I'm gone, see ya. No, here's what I did. I dropped the 3XW championship in the middle of the ring. A new faction came out, beat the hell out of me, and they're the stars now. I just went off the exit, off to the left, and I was gone 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had when I left the ring, I had no desire to come back because that just killed my spirit, my love for pro wrestling. When I knew I was a laughing stock after that, it's just like I knew it was over, and I was tired of being broke anyway. It's like I need to start making some money.
Yeah.
But the passion for pro wrestling always comes back if you truly love it. If you've been a fan all your life, it comes back. But you know, but that whole thing though, the 10th anniversary, Matt was just doing that just to be funny, you know, maybe even just saying, hey man, whatever, 10th anniversary. But my mind got working, you know, it really irritated me. So I'm like, guess what? I'm going to start putting some tweets out there, and, you know, here we go. But there was more to it. I don't know if do you ever listen to Talk is Jericho?
I do, yeah. Well, you were talking on a podcast about the situation, and I couldn't believe how when you got backstage, like everyone in Gorilla was like kind of like trying to hold like a laugh, and like the wrestlers were giving you shit. Like, yeah, it's a funny moment, but like you gotta respect you. Like, you can't shit on you like about that, you know? Like, it wasn't your fault. It was obviously his fault.
But he doesn't think that.
Right.
He thinks in his mind that besides blaming me that I didn't have underwear on under my trunks, he thinks, oh, your trunks were shit. But you never ever pull the trunks when you're almost in the middle of the ring. Right. You have to cower to the corner and then you pull the trunks. But because he was WWE talent and I was the lowly extra talent, he couldn't sell that far. He wouldn't let me drive him far enough back to the corner for forearms to do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, he
couldn't get enough moves in because they didn't let you do it.
He takes no responsibility in that. And that still pisses me off.
Yeah.
But that was the whole thing though. I made everything happen out of nothing. When I heard him and Jericho have that laugh, like I've said on other shows, I contacted Chris Jericho on his Twitter. I said, hey, Fozzie's coming to Des Moines. May I tell my side of the story? He's like, hell yeah. Contact me as soon as we get closer to the show. I did. I'm being interviewed by one of my idols on his tour bus about the whole incident. And Chris Jericho tweeted me, thank you, great job, man. We got a great selfie. And it's a memory I'll always cherish. All because I spoke out and said, hey, can I tell my side of the story? Right. And Jericho was great about it. He promoted the upcoming events and said I was a good hand and all that stuff. But yeah, the 10-year anniversary though, Jericho or Zack Ryder started tweeting about it. So I started hammering him on Twitter and like, oh, we got some interest here. And we go back and forth and we're back in business. And then he gets fired. It's like, whoa. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Before that though, when they were doing the Major Pod, the live show in Chicago. Yeah. That was the actual. He invited me out for that. And he's like, hey, bro, if you get a booking, though, take the booking. And he has no idea. It's like, you think I'm going to take some local booking instead of being a part of the Major Pod show and you guys do your vlog on YouTube and we get all this mainstream attention? It's like, I'll be there. I had no expectations of what was going to happen. And, man, I got a lot of miles out of that show. It was so worth it. I sold the ripped trunks. I got Matt to sign them. I made a good payday on those sold trunks and wonderful opportunity. And they saw what I could do that night, Matt and Brian. And next thing you know, I'm part of not Live 5. Was it Live 5? Live 5 was the Tampa thing. I sent them a video for that. Live 6 was in Baltimore. I didn't have any part of that. And then Live 7, it's like, hey, I'm 4.5 hours from Oshkosh. I'll be there. Boom, I'm there. You know, Baltimore Live 8 in June. You know, stay tuned. Who knows? You never know where Rory Fox could be.
Right. I feel like that definitely. Would you say that rejuvenated your career? Because I know you've been you didn't
absolutely
bookings this whole time, but I think that really gotten you in the mainstream of wrestling.
Absolutely. It's like I can't stand Matt Cardona, but I'm also thankful for him to get me back, give me the media again, get me back to where people, you know, I'm relevant again. It's like, I love doing my local shows, but my ego wants that national spotlight. I want that social media. And because of Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, I'm back in action again. But at the same time, I also have to thank Carl Anderson, who I've known since 2000 out in Cincinnati. I did Talking Shop. I did their show, and, you know, I was doing happy. Oh, you heard that?
Yeah, I heard.
Oh my God, yeah. I had nothing to lose, and I had a few hours of happy hour. They enjoyed the hell out of that, and next thing you know, I'm part of Talking Shop Mania 1 and 2. During COVID, I got to do Talking Shop Mania 1 and 2. I got to do the major podcast. I got a Pro Wrestling Tees store and a Collar and Elbow, all during COVID. So COVID was pretty good to me.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, was the Talking Shop Mania set up before or after all this stuff with Matt Cardona went down? So, I guess my question is, did Carl Anderson or Doc Gallows contact you before or after?
Well, I don't know the time frame there. Chicago, the Major Live Chicago had already happened, but in the meantime, me and Matt were still talking shit on Twitter.
Yep.
But, you know, this was so they were trying to get Matt Cardona to do the Talking Shop Mania, and he wouldn't do it unless, you know, we were one of the main matches. Like, we're not going to throw away our tuxedo match in some 5-minute shit fest, you know?
Right, yeah.
So in the meantime, they had me feud with Brian and Hornswoggle, and they had Swoggle dress as Matt Cardona. So, you know, it was funny.
That was really funny. Yeah, I always wondered if that's what kind of got you into that booking. But I know you said that you, in other interviews, that you've been friends with Carl Anderson.
Yeah, but no, because of the Talking Shop podcast, I did so well on that. Carl got me on Talking Shop Mania.
Yeah.
And then they thought we'll book Rory for this, but then like, hey, Brian Myers and Swoggle are going to be on the show, so let's do something involved with them. Okay. And then that led to Talking Shop Mania 2. And it's like, you know, otherwise, you know, 20 years of business, I'm just sitting at home during COVID. I got flown to Atlanta. I got a nice hotel room and a good payday for Talking Shop Mania 2. So hell.
Right. I know you talked about it on other interviews, but how fun was Talking Shop Mania, the after party?
1 was really great. 2 was all business. So two, I pretty much just went back to my hotel room. But 1, I stayed at Gallows' house and I passed out on the treadmill downstairs. At Talking Shop Mania 1, I was sitting there drinking with Johnny Swinger and Chavo Guerrero and what's the name? That Impact guy, Scott D'Amore. I was like, I wish I would have known. Like, hey, Scott, I got some ideas here. And, you know, I didn't push enough for that. And D'Lo Brown and it was great. And Gallows and Anderson and Zukar, Rocky Romero, man. Rocky's such a cool dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Talking about Scott D'Amore, would you take the Matt Cardona match to Impact? Would that be something that you might do?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to do that there.
That'd be a great payday.
I mean, I would do that match there. I would love to do, or AEW, I would have had the tuxedo match or any match there. Hell, at this point, I'd be happy just to do AEW Dark for now, just to say I did it.
Yep.
Because it just sounds like, you know, I'm not in with anyone in the office at AEW. I mean, I did wrestle John Moxley when he was a rookie at HWA, but I don't think that's going to lead to any bookings there. You got to know Cody or the Young Bucks but I guess Christopher Daniels is the talent relations guy. I just found out the other day, but all these years, I've never met him.
Okay. I was going to ask you later in the interview where, like, your top promotion, like, if you could pick one, what promotion would you go to? But I think you just answered it.
Yeah, right now it would be AEW. I mean, I think I could be a good fit at Impact with the way they wrestle there, and they're all about storylines. AEW's more about just in-ring performance. Now, some guys have characters there, but I think Impact I could fit in to that crew there. You know, maybe team with Johnny Swinger. You know, or I think that would be great.
I think you definitely could, because you're definitely a character wrestler.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see you on there.
AEW, I can't imagine trying to remember a 10-minute match and all those moves. That's a lot on my brain.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess, well, you can ask a few questions.
I just want going back a little bit. It sounds like a lot of like the opportunities you've gotten, but you got kind of by like almost creating them or putting yourself out there, you know, like going on these podcasts or reaching out to Jericho. Do you feel like it's kind of like important if you really want to make a name for yourself in wrestling?
Absolutely. You gotta hustle, man. You gotta just find any little opportunities out there you see, go after it. Like if you get a mention somewhere or this, I mean, just take it.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm in that Major Pod little world now. You know, I'm in their Facebook group, and it's like I'm the enemy of Matt Cardona, but some of their fans start to like me now, and now I'm selling them my wrestling cards and the woo 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 kiss my ass 8x10 where I'm wearing Matt's belt and giving you the finger.
The Shawn Mike.
Yeah, I sold so much merch at Live 7 in Oshkosh. It's like they like Matt, but it's like I don't know what it is. I'm just that likable heel, you know. They hate me. They love to hate me.
You're like the funny heel like Chris Jericho plays on AEW.
Yeah.
And he used to do it back in WWE too.
And back in the day, that was my goal. When I started training, there was WCW, there was WWE, and there was ECW. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be in that. I was realistic. I knew my height, you know, 5'8", 5'9". I want to be in that WCW cruiserweight division. And they allowed charismatic babyface or heel wrestlers in that. It's like Jericho was gone. It's like I knew my style is I'm a cruiserweight, but I'm more heavyweight. It's like a little bit of Shane Douglas, Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard kind of stuff. And it's like I wanted to be the cruiserweight division Shane Douglas, you know, and talk shit, but also have the charisma of Chris Jericho. And I knew WCW cruiserweight division was my bread and butter. That's what I could do. But when they shut the doors, you know, it's like, wow, okay, I can get really puffed up now and try to go to WWE. And it's like, they got Jerry Lynn, and he's the best in the world, and they're not using him for shit. What are they going to do with me?
Yeah.
You know, and they already had a Crash Holly. They had Chris Benoit. They had Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and it's like, what are they going to do with me? And then on the horizon was Daniel Bryan and Brian Kendrick. It's like they are so good. It's like I can talk and all that, but it's like I can't wrestle as good as them. Now, if I was 6'3", I could get by on my standard textbook wrestling and cutting that great promo. But 5'8", you got to be super special.
And also, I feel like nowadays social media helps so much get guys out there. Like he was talking about making opportunities for yourself.
Yeah.
But social media back in the day, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
No,
I just wish there was an AEW 10 years ago, because then I would be on the radar, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you go back, go onto YouTube and see how I looked against Umaga on Monday Night Raw. I mean, if I was that age and that look now, I can guarantee you I would be in that mix at AEW right now. But that's just the way it is, you know. It's the bad luck. It's like when I got into wrestling, there was 3 companies, then it became 1.
Yeah.
And when I got out, it's just there was TNA and WWE, and that was it. And I sent tapes to TNA to Terry Taylor. I had a former child actor gimmick I wanted to use there, Corey Cameron, and I had the CK in my trunks, and I'd come out in the Ted DiBiase tuxedo that's a tearaway, and I'd have an extra with my little Hollywood chair I would sit in, and I had all these wild ideas, but just they never listened to it. As close as I ever got was when I wrestled in Houston on ECW against Stevie Richards. I got Michael Hayes' ear for like 5 minutes, and I was telling them all about this gimmick. And he was like, really? I actually had his attention for a few minutes there until Taryn Terrell, the ECW commissioner, came over and interrupted and asked him what she was doing that night. And then Mike was like, tell me some more about it later. And it's like, that didn't happen.
And then it just doesn't happen. Yeah.
No.
Yep. I was going to ask you, what is kind of like the lifestyle that you live nowadays as like a independent wrestler? So you said in other interviews that you work a 9-to-5 job, and then you're just wrestling on the weekends.
Yeah. It's like like the movie. It's like
the dream. Like, that sounds really cool.
I mean, it's the only world I know, but you've seen The Wrestler, right? The movie, The Wrestler.
It's a great movie.
Well, it's like my life is like The Wrestler, the 9-to-5 thing, except I don't have the drug problems and the injuries and all that stuff, and I don't live in a van, and I don't get kicked out of my apartment. And like Matt Cardona says, I can't afford Wi-Fi. I go to the library. That's total bullshit.
Right.
But I work the 9-to-5. I got ideas in my head all day at work. I write down ideas. Sometimes promos pop in my head and I post them on Twitter as soon as I get home from work.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I live for the weekends. I live for getting on the road and going to my shows, seeing how much merch I can sell, see if I can have the best match on the show, or seeing if I can get the loudest pop on the show for the finish.
Right.
I'm not making a lot of money, but I'm not losing money either doing professional wrestling, because I'm not a whore that's going to go out there. Okay, pay me $20. I just want to be on your show. No, Fuck that. I'll stay home some weekends if I have to. And I'll wait for more opportunities, like with Matt Cardona. And then, at Taka Shop Mania, they may start going on tour. So I may be doing some of that as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I know the goal as a wrestler is to get to a major company, but like having the weekend to like show what you're gonna do and everything, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm out here in Iowa because my parents are here. I was gone for almost 10 years, and I got tired of only seeing my parents once or twice a year. So me being based out of Iowa, I just do shows in Iowa. I travel to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Indiana, Missouri, Kansas. So I got my nice little loop I do. And then some shows I get flown to, for like Major Pod or Talking Shop. And I'm happy with that for now. I would love to be on AEW or Impact, but I don't think that's in the cards. They're not looking for 45-year-olds that weren't on WWE for years. I have a smaller niche group that likes me,
Yeah, but having said that, you still can make a bunch of money doing these with the Matt Cardona feud. I'm sure it's shown.
Yeah.
There's still like indie wrestling isn't just like making, I don't know, like low amount of money on the weekend. There's still a lot of money that goes into it, and fans are so excited to see you guys.
Like back in February, we filmed the FWF live, or the FWF pay-per-view. It's based off their Major Pod show. A lot of fans, didn't see it because it cost $40. And I'm like, come on. It's like, Matt, you're charging the same price as an AEW pay-per-view. Right. You can't charge that much. But he said, it's for our audience. Our audience will buy it. And I'm like, wow, man, who am I to argue with him? He knows how to make money. So that explained that. So I was the mystery referee on that show. It was VSK, he's blowing up now. You've seen him on AEW and Impact Wrestling. VSK versus Matt Cardona. Mm-hmm. And referee John is on the show, which normally it would be John Cone, but he's under a WWE contract. So, and they're not with WWE anymore, so they can't just use John Cone. So it was referee John, and had a silver mask on. Mm-hmm. And the match is being called right down the middle by the referee. And next thing you know, Matt Cardona hits the, what's his big finisher? The leg.
Radio silence, I think he calls it now.
Yeah. Radio silence.
Yeah.
and the ref makes the count. 1, 2, stops, looks right at Matt Cardona and goes, fuck you. Oh, wait, sorry. Takes the mask off. Fuck you. The announcers go, oh my God, it's Rory Fox. And it's like,
seeing a clip of that. That was awesome.
Yeah. No one knew because I called it right down the middle. I played the part. It was fantastic.
But going back to that,
it was great though. I'm just sitting here in Iowa. I got flown to New York. I got a nice hotel room, a good payday. And I got to be a part of this great show, all because I kept taking the initiative and messing with him on Twitter, I showed him how much I care about this angle, and I'm always giving information and ideas and input, and it makes him and the major pod guys make me want to be a part of the group. You know, it's just, I'm being so assertive with ideas that it's infectious. They're like, yeah, let's bring them in, and just keep snowballing.
Yeah, I'm not going to act like I know the business that well, but to play the different side of him wanting to charge $40, like guys like me, we like Matt Cardona, but I didn't watch I didn't buy that pay-per-view. I just saw a clip. So like,
right.
Why wouldn't you make it free, or, like just post it on YouTube? Everyone's going to see it.
Well, he doesn't want to do that because everyone else does that. And see, if you make it that exclusive, you have to buy the show to see it. But that's what it was, though. It was built, that show was made for that circle of fans that are so hardcore, and they spend money on the major pod.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't to gain a new audience. And this was the other thing. The $40 to buy it, and then for $20 more, you get the merch to go with it. So most of them are just going to spend $60 instead of $40.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a smart business move, but yeah.
Yeah. It on my end though, it did frustrate me because I had so many like friends and family and fans that like, I wanted them to see this because it was a great piece of business, but you had to pay $40 to see it, and they're just not gonna, no matter how good it was. And VSK versus Matt Cardona was a great damn match.
Yeah, I'll have to check out the whole thing. I just saw that clip though, but on the other side of that, like those fans might be paying for the major podcast, but like you said, like your family members, like you would want your fans to see that, and you would want to get your audience from it being free,
Yeah, they like me, but they're not going to spend $40 for that.
Yeah, right.
It's like, cool. It's like, well, just go to Pro Wrestling Tees and buy a shirt then. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so kind of talking about like the business stuff, like do you feel, I guess, like how do you manage it? Like, are you kind of designing your own merch? I know you have like a lot of ideas about bookings and promos. So like, I guess what's your just like process to, I guess, make content or make things to help get the name out, or just like grow your own kind of brand? Well,
what's happened based off of my interactions with Matt Cardona now, I have access now to some of we call them the major marks, and some of them have reached out to me about ideas, and now I send them ideas, and then they sketch up some art for me, and then I send it to Pro Wrestling Tees or Collar and Elbow, and that's how I have so many shirts now based off major marks helping me. Now there's some artists, if I have a specific idea, I will pay them to do it, but I also have major marks that just help me out and give me a design.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say. Oh, what was you gonna say? Now
I have a Rory Fox Hasbro design, like the Hasbro WWF wrestlers from the 90s. That this guy's name is Extra Cooler, and he had some sale, and I paid him to do can you do a Hasbro Rory? He's like, yeah, and he did that for me. Now that's one of my T-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, I've seen that one. So yeah, Pro Wrestling Tees makes their own design. So, but you pitch it. You're saying you pitch some to them, and then
no, Pro Wrestling Tees doesn't make the designs.
Oh, they don't? I thought they did.
No, you pay someone to make the design.
Okay.
They email it back to you, and then you send it to Pro Wrestling Tees. And
I kind of thought like you paid for your own store, and then they'll like send you like a design.
It's changed so much. You don't even pay for your store now.
Wow. Okay.
Now, if you have so many followers, you don't have to pay. And I think some may have to pay, but Matt, he's got an in there. He got me a Pro Wrestling Tees store. But now it's just, I send my ideas in. They have my info. And once a month, I get an email with, you get about like $7 a T-shirt, which is so much better than back in the day. I would spend $200 on a box of T-shirts, and I never know when I would sell them. Now it's just, all I got to do is promote the thing on social media, and people buy T-shirts, and then I get money once a month.
Right. That's a lot better program, I guess you could say. Because then like you said, you're not sitting there with like a box of T-shirts in your car, like, oh, I didn't sell 50 of them last week. What am I going to do?
Now, if I have shows every weekend, if things really pick up, it might be in my best interest to buy some shirts because they would give me a discounted price. Because that's the thing. Fans see you in the ring and they think you're, oh, wow, that was great. I want your shirt right now. I'm like, well, you have to go to ProWrestlingTees.com. And like, no, it don't work like that.
Yeah,
so,
I guess that is the other side of it.
At least at a show, I can sell my 8x10s and my little wrestling cards and 4x6s, pictures. But yeah, it would be a good idea to have some shirts to sell too.
That's true. I was just thinking from like the typical indie wrestler that doesn't have all the recent success that you've been having. Like they probably do have a lot leftover merchandise that they're worried about, which that kind of sucks. But
yeah, what I've done lately though is I knew some matches were going to be coming up again, so I just invested in some wrestling gear and a ring jacket and more little wrestling trading cards. That's what I've focused on. But yeah, I would. One of those shirts I may decide to buy some of and then just sell them on the shows.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good business plan, to be honest. I wanted to ask you, what was your family's reaction when did you say you were 18 when you went to wrestling school?
No, I was 21.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Did you say you started lifting weights when you were 18, 19?
Well, that was about I don't know, it's about 16.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because the school I was originally at, Norway, didn't have anything, and when I moved to the next school, when our school closed, I started lifting weights there. Yeah, I was 125 when I was a sophomore in high school.
That was me too.
By the time I was a senior, I got to about 155, and then I got to about 175, 180. And I was like, oh, I got to find out if I can do this. And I just worked in a factory for 2.5 years, saving to go to wrestling school because I just had to know, can I do this or not? Because I know if I just sit in this factory for 20 years and drink beers and watch Monday Night Raw every Monday night, I'm going to regret it 20 years from now. So
exactly, yeah. Yeah, I've heard you talk about that before.
Yeah, but in the hindsight, though, say I never would have chased my dream.
Yeah,
I'd have 20 years in that factory and probably about over 100,000 in 401k. But who knows how messed up my body would be? And I just know how miserable I'd be if I just wondered. Right. That money would be great, but I would always be what if.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's gonna work. It already has been working out for you, but I think this whole Cardona situation is gonna elevate you towards.
Yeah. It's a whole new audience now. People really can look up because it doesn't help though. Like Brian Myers always like, well, Rory sucks. He's terrible. And it's like that's all bullshit. It's like let's have a match on the Indies where we can go 15 minutes, not these 2-minute squash bullshit in WWE.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to shut his mouth. But also these fans now hear me in a promo and they're like, wow, this guy can really talk or he's interesting. I'm going to look him up on YouTube. And I have old matches from the vault that are really good and people can look them up now and see them. It's like, wow, Rory's legit. He's just not this jobber guy from WWE TV 10 years ago. It's like, there's more to my story. I was trained at a good school.
Exactly. Yeah. I think obviously you're doing a good job being the heel against Cardona, but also if they went from a standpoint where it's like, yeah, Fox is really good, but I hate him, instead of saying like Cardona, instead of saying Fox sucks, like bringing you down instead of like, you up,
I wrestled Chris Masters in September last year at the Bridge City Slam, and I know he doesn't think I suck. We had a good match. And the crowd really reacted for the finish.
Yeah, I think if they went by that kind of perspective,
that was in front of that was in front of 600 fans, and they were with me all the way.
Right. Yeah. So I guess my question is like, so you're in this group now. You've made amends with Cardona, but is there still you haven't? Is there still like some heat like in real life?
There's heat. It's no matter how much we're out there together, it comes across so real because I still have that anger inside me that I haven't been able to let loose of. It's like I can be a part of the show, but there's still hatred and that anger in there, that I was shamed, and they laugh and joke about me on that show like I'm still a joke. And it's like, one of these days you're going to find out it's not so damn funny.
Yeah, and that's a reasonable attitude to have for it too, because like if you're just to give in and be like, oh yeah, I'm buddy with these guys, like selling yourself short. Like you gotta move on from the past, but still remember everything that happened.
It's all fun and games to them. They're booked every weekend now. Like Brian Myers said, he said, hey Jobber, I'm like, you come out to Iowa, you'll be doing the job at Bridge City Slam. And he's like, I'm not coming out there. And he doesn't have to now. He's got Impact Wrestling every 3 weeks, and he's got his major pod show. So it's like he can pick and choose his dates now.
Right.
To me, Matt Cardona is everything. At this point, he is my career. He keeps me mainstream. So, yeah, it's very important to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good perspective to live by, because, like I said, if you were just to forget about it and be buddy, it's like, I don't know. But
the problem is, though, is once we do have the tuxedo match, will it be over? And
right. It should be.
I want to wrestle him in Iowa in front of my fans. I want to do the whole Steve Austin versus Hart Foundation. The Hart Foundation are heroes in Canada, but they're the despicable bastards in America. Now, if Matt Cardona wrestles me and was it Keokuk or Ottumwa, Iowa at Bridge City Slam, he would be booed and I would be cheered, and we could totally pull it off there. Now, if we go to Chicago, Matt Cardona's the heel, I'm the no good bastard. Or to New York or California, I would like to take it all around the loop. I would do a cage match, a street fight, the tuxedo match. I'd like to do the whole loop.
That'd be awesome. Think about like the rubber match, the final match in Iowa.
Yeah,
like
that would be great.
Scenario. That'd be really cool. Steel cage, something like that.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I would love to have a match with Brian Myers too. I think that would be really great. And I'm, one of those. It's like after this match is over, you will respect me, Brian Myers. Even if he wins the match, he's gonna respect me.
Yep. It's crazy to hear you say that, because like all this situation, because from a fan perspective, it's like, oh, these guys are actually friends in real life,
No, I'm just doing business. I'm just doing what I can to stick around. I do not like those guys.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. Do you have more of like a business mind for the business now? Well, I know you. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be wrestling now if you didn't like to.
Yeah.
But it's all business.
No, I just love being in the ring. I love being in front of that crowd. That's why I'm there. I'm not there to make all these friends.
Yeah.
Like even I don't get along with Sean Hernandez from Impact Wrestling because he dropped me on my necks like 3 times in Texas. I hate his guts, but I would love to wrestle him. And I even threw that out there. And we could wrestle in Texas. He has no interest. He just called me a clown. He said, I've moved on, whatever, he would not apologize and just said I was a clown. I was like, that's fine, dude. I would wrestle him. I would still do a match with him, but I would never, ever, 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 ever allow him to give me a border toss again. And if he tried to give me a border toss, it would turn into a real fight.
Yeah.
But that's otherwise, I could do business. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good attitude to have, just because, like, you're totally in the right. Like, it's all him. Like, you didn't do anything to him.
Yeah. I just want to wrestle him. I love the heat. I love to be booed. That's the best drug in the world to me. And that's what keeps me wrestling. I have to do shows where I'm the good guy too. And also, I love the fans that love me and they cheer Rory, Rory, Rory. Like I have at Central Empire Wrestling. But really, that's the only area like where I want to be that. It's like back in the day, Jerry the King Lawler, he was only cheered in Memphis. Everywhere else, WWF New York, he's the no good heel. That's what I like. That's what, that's my bread and butter.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like kind of the same mindset that it seems like Chris Jericho has too. But his career has become now. He's like well, I know his face now on AEW, but
Yeah,
that's what he was for the past couple of years.
Eventually that was going to happen anyway because
Yeah.
Jericho is such a likable heel.
He is. But I think you are too. You know, like you could switch just like that, and people would not bat an eye. You know.
Yeah, you know that could happen with me and Matt someday, but we have to settle our issues. You know, we have to have that blood and guts fight, and then say somewhere down the line, someone's beating the hell out of Matt Cardona. I may come to help him out because it's like, okay, we had our fight, we settled our issues. We'll just say maybe he wins, you know, he's the better man, but at least he gave me the match to finally let me, you know, get my revenge and let me fight for all that shame I felt. So, you know, I could at least respect that,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, you guys could even become a tag team.
Who knows?
Maybe. If he drops Brian Myers.
Yeah.
You guys become a tag team,
Yeah, there's many opportunities ahead, you know, once things open up.
Right.
I at this point, I embrace being that weekend warrior. I understand it. I'm 45. No one's going to sign me now. But you know what? I'm going to keep staying like in good shape and as best shape I can be at this point and try to stay healthy because, you know, I'm beat up too. My, you know, the knees and neck are sore. But if that's all I get at this point is to do the weekends, I'll do it because I love professional wrestling and I'm not losing money doing it. I will continue to do it as long as I'm healthy enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, that's a great attitude to have because, like, I don't want to talk shit about a bunch of wrestlers, but I feel like a guy like Brock Lesnar or Goldberg, like, obviously they're making millions, but they're just there for the money. You know? Like,
yeah, definitely.
They don't care about pro wrestling. It's obvious, you know.
No, I mean,
there's probably
especially
guys like that,
especially Goldberg. But hey, you know, how can you turn it down?
Yeah.
$2 million to wrestle, $3 million to wrestle a couple matches. I mean, you'd be a fool to turn it down.
Yeah.
But it seems though like Vince McMahon respects that. He loves the guys that don't really want to be in the business. It's like he loves that challenge.
Yeah,
I'll bring them back.
You know? I think so too. But yeah, I mean, if they couldn't draw, he wouldn't bring it back. You know, so like
but like back in the day, he was obsessed with Ultimate Warrior because Ultimate Warrior supposedly didn't love the business, so he loved guys like that because they weren't fans of it. So they're more of a challenge to him.
Yeah,
Vince loves that challenge.
That seems to be a thing. Like the guy. Well, when we met, when the Iowa Wolves did the Kurt Angle meet and greet.
Yeah,
Kurt Angle wasn't a guy who grew up watching the business, but he took a liking to it, and he was like really good, like right off the bat. So that's like totally different.
But he fell in love with pro wrestling.
Yeah, he took a liking to it, and
that became his next obsession after the amateur wrestling was over.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Kevin Nash, though, he was another guy that he got in it because nothing else. Basketball was done, and he was bouncing, but he also eventually got that passion and love for the business, and you know, stuck around a long time. So some guys, they get in it for the money.
Yeah.
But then they start to love it too. But yeah, it should be about the money too, because
it is.
You know, it is a business. You know, we're trying to make whatever money we can, and like now, I didn't make all the money I can, but now I'm going to take advantage of all these little opportunities. You know, I'm selling all these T-shirts now and selling wrestling cards. I'm doing whatever I can now to make up, you know, to make that money that I never made.
Exactly. I feel like a lot of fans probably forget that it is a business, and like I said, like I wasn't trying to trash these wrestlers that are in it for the money. I mean, it's a business, but it is good when you have these favorite wrestlers that are very dedicated to their fans and dedicated to wrestling. So see their perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool to see that you still have a liking for the business and not just doing it just for the money.
No, I'm not going to sit here and say I like watching all this wrestling that's on TV. I just like to wrestle. It's like like that pay-per-view Sunday night. I didn't sit there and watch that whole show. I watched the main event.
Right.
I don't.
That was
I don't,
a great match to just you know.
I don't enjoy triple threat matches. I don't like to sit there and watch them.
Yeah.
I would have loved, say, Charlotte versus Rhea one-on-one. Asuka was just pinned earlier in the week. Why is she still in the match? But because she's got to lose the fall. But otherwise, I get that. And Strowman was in the other one because they needed someone to lose the fall. It's like, forget all these triple threat matches.
Yeah, they just want to protect Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I'm
with JR.
He's a very talented guy.
Yeah, I'm with Jim Ross on that, like what he says on his podcast. It's like, damn it, some nights you just win with your finisher. You just the better man that night. But no, WWE just does not believe in that concept. You can't just win a match.
Yeah. I question the booking a lot in WWE.
Yeah, it's so hard to do though. It's like the old days, you had 3 months to promote a show. You're promoting once a month. I mean, that's got to be so hard.
And it is definitely a challenge, but I feel like it's hurting them in the end from like a perspective. Like, it's just constant. I invite him over to watch that month's wrestling pay-per-view like almost every time. And it's just like sometimes it just gets tiring, Like with AEW, they have 4 or 5 pay-per-views a year, and it feels kind of refreshing. Like, oh, we have 3 weeks to get these storylines over for Full Gear instead of like backlashes in 2 weeks,
Yeah, AEW's pay-per-view still feels somewhat like special. Like you get together with the guys and watch the show. Just like how the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania still have that feel. But the rest of the shows, it's just like you can't tell the difference now between Raw and a pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah, WrestleMania still has that feel to me where it's like things are starting to pick up, but the rest of the year it's kind of just dragging on.
What did you think? That was kind of fun, didn't you think that? Like 2 nights of Mania?
I don't know. I feel like – because AJ Styles said in an interview that – and it just got me thinking, I agree with him – that they should limit the wrestling just to like the top 6 matches instead of getting everyone on the card.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense to me. But it was a good pay-per-view with both nights. So can't complain.
Yeah, the second night, some of the matches were dragging. Like back in the day, Nia Jax and Natty in that tag team title match, that would never have got like 20 minutes. It would have got like 3 or 4. Get down. It's like AJ is right. It should be. It's the night of the super card. Only the best should be on the show. It's like we got to get everybody on the show to thank them.
Yeah.
Use that as motivation. It's like I want to be on WrestleMania this year, and it makes you work towards it. It's like everybody shouldn't be on the show.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like that should be a thing. Like you should be.
My cat got on the counter. It pissed me off.
Okay. Yeah, but I was just going to say, you should be working towards WrestleMania every year instead of like, oh, I'm in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah.
But
that one night though, it used to be all these matches were getting like 5 minutes, and then Triple H's match would get like 28 minutes.
Yeah.
Too long. Like that year, wasn't that so long? Like Batista and Triple H match, like 27 minutes. Like why?
It was. And then I can't remember. Oh, Kurt Angle's match. Match, he had 6 minutes, and it was his retirement match.
Yeah, that was so sad. And that's not even the match he wanted. And that's like, oh, this is what you're getting, pal.
That's so sad. Do you ever listen to his podcast with?
Oh, every week now.
Yeah,
I'm listening to. Now I make it a priority to listen to Angles and Jeff Jarrett's right now.
I need to listen to Jarrett still.
You do. It's great.
Eric Bischoff's and then Angles.
Yeah. Bischoff, he rambles on too much. I too much detail.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested in the business side, but I'm also I would like to hear kind of like the backstage, like kind of more of like the talking shit stories,
Oh, I like the Bischoff NWO Sold Out 97 one because I was there, and I was there the night before hanging out when they were filming the opening of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened with that? I haven't listened to that podcast.
Oh, it's just he just talked about what was bad about the show and what was good and what he was thinking because it was just panned as one of the worst pay-per-views ever. But he goes into what his thinking was and why he did it this way. And
Mm-hmm.
It's just good to hear his perspective and that I saw it live.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rory, one thing I was kind of wondering about, because you've kind of had like an experience that I feel like few people get, like actually being in the ring and performing in front of like a live crowd. So I guess at least I'm sure now you're probably kind of used to it, but at the start, did you feel like a lot of pressure before things, and then during the match, do you kind of gauge how? Like, do you hear like the boos and you're like, all right, we need to switch this, like cheers, you're like, okay, this is working?
Yeah, I've been wrestling long enough now where I can stay calm in the ring and like I listen to the crowd. Now, younger guys are just all they have in their minds are the spots, and they're not even, they completely cut the crowd out. I'm listening to the crowd. That's why my matches, I like to have bullet points of what we're going to do. It's like, you know, this may happen, but this could happen or this. So that's why I listen to the crowd, and that's why my matches are different than most of the other matches, and why my matches get a lot more reaction for every little detail I do in the match. And it's so funny. When I started wrestling, I saw those same guys on the show. I'm out there not using my face. I'm not doing the facials because I'm trying to remember what the next move is. And I watch these other guys that have been wrestling 15 years. And like, wow, how'd they get that reaction? And they're barely doing anything. It's like, yeah, you start to figure it out. It's like as you get more and more beat up and you can hardly go anymore, it's like, God, then you start to get it. It's like, man.
Yeah. Do you think that the new style of wrestling is kind of hurting the business, or do you think it's good just with all the spots that they throw into one match?
No, it's definitely hurting it. I watch it. It's
enjoyable, but
well, yeah, it's enjoyable, but AEW, they do so many moves, and they just every match guys just kick out of all these moves, and it's like, man, why does every match have to have 3 or 4 near falls in it? It's some matches a guy should have a brief comeback and then take it home. And then I see the 6'10" guy, Murder Hawk.
Oh, Lance.
He does the even to guys that are like 6 feet tall or under.
Oh,
he walks
that Scott Hall, like razor.
No, before that. He walks the ropes like Undertaker. And then he does a jumping moonsault on them guys. And it's like, that's not even the finish. And now these guys use a buckle bomb as a setup. It's like, God damn. The buckle bomb was a finisher. Now he'll do his Undertaker walk the ropes moonsault. Then he'll buckle bomb the guy, and then he's got to still do the drop on their head deal for the finish. And it drives me nuts. And I see Brian Cage doing aerial stuff, and he looks so amazing. And it's like, why do you have to buckle bomb every guy? And why can't you just go to your Steiner screwdriver? Just it's like, why power bomb the guy 3 times just because Lesnar did it 12 years ago? It doesn't make, I should do it now. It's like, if you're doing 3 of them, that should be the end of the match. You shouldn't do 3 of. You shouldn't be doing 3 of them and then the corkscrew.
Yeah, because that's like 3 of another guy's finisher, and then one guy kicks out, and it's like, well, that guy's finish isn't anything then, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I see so many moves. I'm like, fuck, I'm not kicking. I'm gonna get counted out from the 3 right there. Or I look at it, it's like, I can see other guys though. Like, sure, I'll kick out all the moves because you're making me look like a superstar. You're letting me kick out all your moves, and I'm gonna win the match yet? Cool. It's like, if you're the guy winning the match, I'm sorry, the guy losing the match should be able to kick out of a bunch of the moves, but he's still gonna lose. But the guy winning the match should not have a guy kick out of all of his moves.
It really just hurts the move. Like, you talk about WWE protecting wrestlers. Like, I mean, you got to protect the finish too. Yeah, it's just the guy. Or I'm saying the other thing too. The guy that's losing the match should be smart enough to not hit every freaking cool move he has, because the guy winning the match is going to kick out of all of them, and he's still going to pin you. Right. And that's a great little thing I've learned from Rip Rogers. Okay.
if you're losing the match, use a couple of your moves. Don't use everything in your arsenal, because it's like you hit this guy with all them moves and you still got beat. You not only are you losing the match, that guy's winning the match and he kicked out everything you had.
Yep.
It should be the other way around. It's like I hit this guy with everything and I finally hit him with this move and I won the match.
Mm-hmm.
So that way the guy wins the match. The other guy also wins because, God, he showed all this heart and he kicked out all these moves and he fought as best he could.
Right. Yeah, and 3 weeks before WrestleMania, Bray Wyatt kicks out, he gets up after 3 RKOs, and then one RKO in the match, and he's done.
Well, oops. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry. I'm getting low on power here. But no, their WWE psychology is but it was a surprise RKO. That's why it was a distraction from Sister Abigail.
Yeah, like that doesn't.
But yeah. But anyway, I'm about to run out of juice here.
Okay.
We've been going. We had a good talk.
Yeah. We went on a bunch of different tangents. So yeah. Good.
Thanks for having me on the show. You can get my T-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/RoryFox11, and also at collarandelbow.com. Search Rory Fox, and I got a couple shirts on there. Use promo code RoryFox11, and you can save 20%. And I'm on Instagram at RoryFox11. I'm usually putting some new material up on there, and RoryFox _ on Twitter. And I also have Rory Fox Facebook fan page.
All right. Yeah.
So
coming on. We'll try to put those links in the description too, just so people can easy access to them.
Hey, we're also both gonna buy your shirts, and then you'll have to buy us.
Hey, that'd be great. Hey, make sure if you do buy it, send it to me, and take a picture of it, and I'll put it on all my social media.
That'll be awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Hey, I don't know if I told you this, but you're our first wrestler to be on.
Yeah.
All right. See,
talking wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm still accomplishing firsts in professional wrestling. How about it?
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.